right, and welcome in here, everybody, to the Two Guys and Beer podcast. I'm a guy, he's a guy, we have beer. So two guys and beer.
What's better than that?
It's all coming together. It's right here.
It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect.
Here in the podcast studio as we work our way through another episode as we're going international, Sean. We've gone a little international before with Spottin', the Optimator, and we've dabbled in a little bit of that. Today we're going to go to Belgium.
I've never been to Belgium. I like Belgium already.
Are you feeling a little Dutch, maybe a little German?
I'm a little Dutch, actually.
Well, there you go.
Believe it or not, it's where my grandparents, my grandpa's side, came from the Dutch in the Belgium area.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know that my sister-in-law worked through her work. They had offices posted in Belgium or in the Netherlands, and so Amanda actually went and spent almost 2 weeks there, just hanging out, checking everything out in the Netherlands.
Oh, cool.
Went to they had a whole cheese market festival thing. I don't know. They went there in the middle of the road and they were like rolling cheese wheels up and down the street and stuff, and there was cheese everywhere. It was fantastic.
That sounds like Wisconsin.
Absolutely. Right? A lot easier to pronounce.
Right.
So what we're doing today is we're going to go to Belgium here. We have these lovely tall bottles here. It's a full pint, which is, a pint's it's a big glass, but these are some pretty sturdy bottles.
They're pretty hefty. Yeah, they're not just your typical glass bottle, man. They look quality.
You're going to have to put them back out on your front step for the beer man.
Yes.
After this to get the recycling going on that one. It's a fourth generation brewery called. Let's see if I can pronounce this right. It's Huyghe. And I did do some research on it, so I did look it up. Huyghe is what they have gone with. That is, I shouldn't say that's what it is. It's not Perfect. What they've just decided to go with that now at this point in time. But that's what I'm going to go with, and hopefully that works for everybody else. So, Huyghe is going to be at Delirium is the name of the beer. From my I spy with my little eyes, a little 8.5% alcohol.
Yep, it sure is.
It's going to have some
buzz to it. You'll be delirious after you drink the Delirium?
I might already be delirious. I don't know. It's possible. I guess we'll have to find out. So, So join us for the trip down the Huyghe lane and get delirious with us. So, this one. I will admit you're unlikely to find this in your local grocery store or your local liquor store. If you go to a Wine and More, maybe an outside chance, but I have my doubts. You may have to not illegally import this yourself or just travel to Belgium.
Right.
So,
which both sounds great. And I don't know exactly where this came from either. Actually, one of our listeners got us this beer, and they said, here, have this beer on the episode. So here it is. We're finally getting to this one. We've had quite a few from listeners and viewers giving us for us to try on the podcast and give our opinions on it and talk about the history of it. So this is another one from one of our viewers/listeners on the show.
So this is a brewed and bottled by Huyghe Brewery in Mel, Ghent, Belgium. Family brewery since 1654 is actually what it is, but it's imported by BBL Inc. in Frederick, Maryland.
Oh, okay.
So you can get it domestically. So I take it back. It's not such a. There is some controversy about the label though. That we'll get to that in a little bit, which I don't get it. But whatever. We'll see.
All right.
We'll talk about it and we'll get our own kind of viewpoint of that. So
I'm a little concerned, Andy, about opening this bottle.
I was just going to say, do we want to try to I have a pretty good idea of how to attack this one. It's almost kind of like a little like champagne or a wine bottle. You got a little twisty do here to be able to release the cap. We'll put
okay, and I've never opened a wine bottle or champagne bottle in my entire life. So,
but this is the part where it gets a little bit dicey. That I don't think it's going to be quite like champagne where it's going to splash all over, but it's possible that it might, depending on how much we shook it and all.
What
So
are we supposed to do? Just that's not too bad.
Yeah, you just kind of there you go.
Oh, I got it.
There you got it. There we are.
That sounded good. Oh, I should have waited for the bloop.
Good pop.
I guess I screwed up our typical intro of the can bottle opening. This time it was a beer bottle cork top opening.
I didn't even have to use my Brewery Running Series pop top, bottle top.
Right.
Rop top. Remind me to talk to you about that. We got some discussion. They're wrapping up their season here in the next couple of weeks, so you guys should come and hang out with that. If you haven't heard, it's not a sponsorship at all whatsoever, but I like it and I appreciate what they do. The Brewery Running Series, it's in Minnesota. It's in like 12 different states now. It's been around for, I want to say 11 years now. Amanda was at the very first one, just happened to go down there, and it was National Running Day on like June 5th.
Whoa. We're foaming.
Oh, you're foaming.
We're foaming at the
you're
top.
foaming. Oh, you're getting excited over here.
All right.
I'm still.
Don't tell my wife.
I'm not delirious yet. So, but yeah, they do a lot of events. They do like 45, 50 events throughout the course of the summer. But it starts early, and it's next weekend is their last event, and so they have a lot of really great events and a lot of good times with that. Usually a 5K ish. It's not really timed. They have an arch, so you still run through the thing, but it's a fun time, and it's at a brewery every single time, and that's the best part.
Doesn't get any better than that.
If you're interested in doing anything like that, definitely look it up. Brewery Running Series, again, in many different states. Minnesota is the one that we typically go to, but it's a great organization. They give a lot of their money back to different organizations. We've talked about that many times about so many different breweries giving back, but nonetheless, that is one of the few things that I have kind of wedged in, I guess, myself. Like they're not a sponsor, they don't give us any money. I just appreciate what they do and everything that Morgan and Nate are the co-founders that originally created it, and still going strong all these years later, and see Morgan almost most weekends during the summer. So, but they do a great job, and it's a lot of fun. The running, not so much fun for me, at least.
Do they
Amanda
like to drink beer?
Yes, the beer is the key, and it's just a big party afterwards.
Morgan and Nate, do they like to drink beer?
Oh yeah, they're big craft beer people.
Maybe one of them would like to sit in this spot right here.
There we go. We'll have to reach out to one of the two of them. I think that they'd probably be open to be able to do something like that. Be able to get them on here. We did talk about having Pine City, the 320 brewery, trying to get them on the list.
Yeah.
They were going to a couple years ago, but they were changing ownership, and so things got a little bit wonky. But nonetheless, I digress. I didn't need it, but nonetheless, Brewery Running Series, check it out. Moving forward, though, Belgium. That's where we're headed here. It's the Huyghe, Huyghe, Huyghe Brewery. It's from Mel/Ghent, Belgium. So a couple of different areas of Belgium is where it's at. So let's now that we got the top popped, you're still foaming at the mouth over there.
I'm still foaming out of the tip, so...
It doesn't really give me any description. It just says that it's a family brewery and it's 8.6%. So let's give her a shot here.
Shall we take a sip?
What is it? Didn't even really say anything on the front. It's just Delirium Tremens. Here we go.
Delirium.
Should have almost brought a glass. It definitely has kind of that...
It has a taste.
It's a very German-ish kind of Pilsner type of taste to it. I'm failing with it.
I'm kind of at a loss of words because it's
a very German Marzen-style beer.
That's very interesting. That's for sure.
It's very I can tell that it's from Belgium and from that region for sure.
You think that has a Pilsner taste to it?
To me, it does.
Maybe a little. I've never tasted anything like it.
It is, but
I'm having a hard time trying to describe to all the listeners and viewers out there what it.
In my opinion, it's not bad though. I don't think that it's bad. It's definitely a different flavor.
It's weird. It's odd because we're not used to drinking that here.
Right.
I don't think it's bad. At this point, maybe 6-7 drinks in, it might change because that always changes the more you drink of it.
I think that personally, the way this tastes,
it's
if this were to be warm or not freezing cold, because I just got out of the fridge, so it's good and cold. And this bottle is good and thick, and so it'll stay good and cold for a while. But if it was not that, I think I probably would absolutely hate it.
It would be terrible. I would agree. It's not bubbly. It's not bitter. It's not hoppy. Like barley-wise, I'm not tasting a lot of barley in there. I mean, there's probably some in there, but it drinks kind of flat. You know, it almost feels like you're drinking flat pop.
Right.
Because of there's no carbonation or any of that. It doesn't seem like there is any of that in there. I mean, there's got to be some of some sort, but
yeah, it's definitely a very interesting flavor. But yeah, it's not bad. I kind of like it. I don't know that I'm going out of my way to go get it, but
no.
It sounds like I'd have to go way out of my way to get it. So
yeah, you'd have to go pretty far. I definitely won't drink it after I'm mowing the yard, and I don't think I want it at a campfire.
No. I mean, I might have, if that's what I have, like after I'm done mowing, that might be what I have, but that's because of what's there. But
if somebody gave it to you, it would be fine. But I wouldn't seek it out.
Yeah, no. If I open my beer fridge currently with the options that I have in there, that's not the first one that I'm grabbing. That's more of that's what's left, and that's what I'm going to grab. But it's still like good to drink. It's just not.
Yeah, it's not bad. The bottle's pretty cool. I like the thick bottle.
Oh, absolutely.
The gray bottle with the speckles on it.
It's heavy duty too. It's like, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but it is thick with 2 C's.
Yeah, this isn't a little thin 12-ounce bottle of Michelob here. This is like a 18th century clay pot type bottle. You know, that's the way it appears. You know, I mean, they corked it. You know, so it's quite the bottle.
There's not a lot of beers that you see get corked. Usually just the cap or, you know.
That's what's interesting about this one, Delirium here. Thanks for the listener. His name is Jeff, by the way.
Thank you, Jeff.
For turning it on to this, giving this to us so we could present this to everybody, all the listeners and viewers out there, as we continue to struggle to describe this particular beer. But yeah, no, thanks, Jeff. And to go along with this, he did give you a gift.
Oh, geez.
This gift is specifically for Andy that he has to open up on the show here, but I'm going to take another drink and let the suspense build.
This is, as we hear from our sponsors, okay, so we don't have one. But if you're looking to sponsor us, definitely reach out. We're happy to be able to, talk about your product, We got a couple of things, not really sponsorships, but like the brewery running series, or again coming up on a future episode, Pete's Out Barbecue.
Yes,
definitely one of the things that we like to be able to promote as much as we can.
It could be a past episode, Pete's Out Barbecue. We don't really know.
That's true. It all depends.
Probably be a past on this one.
Yeah, it could be.
We'll
have to find out. Yeah,
depends on how the editing goes and when we release stuff. That's all we do.
This is true.
We don't know.
Regardless of, there is another episode. I'll word it that way. There is another episode where we will be literally eating the barbecue with Mr. Pete's.
And maybe you've already seen it, and maybe it's still yet to come.
And if you haven't seen it, order it and eat with us, and drink whatever beer it is that we pick.
Or if you've seen it, comment on how delicious the ribs looked.
This is true. Yeah. And did I mention to like, share, and subscribe, to spread it to all your friends and everything else?
Without further ado,
oh geez,
hey Jeff, this is your present to Andy to go along with Delirium.
So
we'll make Andy get a little delirious. He'll probably feel, I know what this is already, so he'll be delirious after he opens it. Or he'll get delirious, if that's even the right word.
Well, I'm sure that's probably what will happen.
There you go, Andy.
It's quite the fine wrapping that we have here. I love it.
Let's see what you got there.
I got to open it close to the mic so you can hear the ripping and tearing, because you wouldn't be able to tell from just the actual ripping and tearing. Kind of like bowl-like, almost like a vase of some sort. Von Hansen's. Jeff.
Yeah, That's Jeff's personality right
Shenanigans,
there.
I tell you. He got me good on this one here. If you haven't listened before, Von Hansen's, it's put it right there in the middle. Make sure the label's, right. Von Hansen's.
That's Jeff for you, everybody. He likes to have a good time. He's a jokester.
So if you haven't heard the story, I do like Von Hansen's. They're fine. They are good, seasoned pretzels. But I don't know if you're like me, but every time I go to like a brewery and I see Von Hansen's gourmet pretzels, my mind conjures up the soft pretzels that come with either like some honey mustard or like a cheese dip or something like that, or like like the big pretzel, you know what I mean? The big, thick, soft ones. And then I order it, and then I come out with these just flavored regular pretzels. Right. And it's always so like, oh, they got me again. And I don't know why. It tricks me every time that I don't realize that they're right here in front of me. But now it's a thing.
Attention.
Now it's a thing. So, Von Hansen's, they got me again. So
this one's Parmesan flavored.
So thank you, Jeff, for the gift of it is.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Yeah. Definitely got me on that one. That's a good one. I appreciate that.
Could you tell what it was in the package? I thought, man, he's gonna know what it is for sure in that size. But did you have
I didn't. I when I started opening, I'm like, well, it's like a bowl of some sort, or like like I said, like kind of like a vase, or vase,
usually the brewery ones are the smaller, thinner ones.
I think that's probably what threw me off was the tall boy. It's it's the pounder. It's. Do we call that a silo? Is it the same kind of concept?
Sure it is.
With that one? All right. Perfect. Yeah, so I did not know. I seen it when you grabbed the package, and I started tearing in, but I couldn't quite tell. But I think I opened it up, and as it was tearing, I could see like an edge of a label and the pretzels. I'm like, oh. Darn Von Hansen's coming back at me again now.
Good times.
Von Hansen's. Again, no disrespect for Von Hansen's. If you would like to sponsor the podcast, I talk about it more often than not. So it's not the first time that I've brought up Von Hansen's on the podcast. So
no, it is not.
So yeah, that'll be good to be able to help wash down my Huyghe.
You're right. Your delirium.
My delirium.
Yeah.
I am a little delirious now at this point. We kind of.
We eat a few of those Von Hansen Parmesan pretzels, and maybe you'll be a little less delirious.
There we go.
Soak up the delirium.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm starting to look at the clock here. Whatever. I'm pretty sure that dinner is no longer. I might have pizza, Huyghe's Pizza.
Right.
Out on the thing. We should maybe get them on the bit.
There that'd be cool. Yeah.
So back to Delirium here. We'll talk a little bit about these guys just a little bit. It's a centuries-old tradition brewing beer. I don't know if you knew that or not, but brewing beer just generally goes way back.
I guess.
See, that one it bit you right in the right in the Huyghe. So at the this.
It sure did.
So at the site of Applehook in Mel is kind of where this starts, where this Huyghe starts. The local art of beer brewing dating back as far as the 17th century, and in 1902. So this is one of the things. It goes way back, but I think it's just like fourth generation brewer, but doesn't necessarily mean that the brewery is on their fourth generation. So it goes back. I think even on the label it says as much as 1654. So again, back into the 17th century. But Huyghe itself didn't really come around until the 1900s. So 1902, one Leon Huyghe starts working at a local brewery, and in the years that follow, he ushers in the old mammoth into the modern age and a proud 1989 pink little elephant.
So, seen on the front of the label of the Delirium.
Exactly. So in 1925, Leon Huyghe is joined at the brewery by his son Albert and son-in-law Louis, and the brewery is officially renamed Brewery El Huyghe. Today, Alain Diriat, a fourth-generation Huyghe, stirs the brew kettles, and the little elephant of the olden days has grown into a sturdy Belgian mastodon.
All right.
So,
Mastodon.
So that's kind of
like the band or what?
I think so.
All right,
maybe.
perfect.
I always think that they're going to be way better than. It's not what I anticipate, but it's a little heavier rock than I think I'm.
It is a little heavier.
Yeah, I think that's what usually kind of throws me because I picture rock and then it's that.
When did they even come out? The 80s, maybe.
It's been around for a while.
I don't know.
They're solid. They're good.
I haven't listened to them too much, so.
But, I've definitely heard some of their stuff though. So. It started again, early 1900s and kind of worked through the years. Excuse me. So scale up is not the same as proliferation. Over the years, a balanced range with a unique taste palette has been Brewery Huyghe's number one priority. The pursuit of top quality is coupled with the care and responsibility towards people and the environment. We've talked about it numerous times, breweries giving back, breweries being sustainable, trying to be able to do what they can to really interweave themselves into the community. I think we've said it numerous times that I don't know that there's another industry that does more or a better job of that than brewing.
Neither. They do more and they do a better job, period. Yeah. All throughout the country, all throughout the world now.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal, what they do. It's very, 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 it's just amazing. So they're they also have corporate social responsibility, which have sustainable investments in high-tech innovations. They have a capacity of their hyper-modern Cronus Hall, where they make their beer, capacity of 350,000 hectoliters.
Okay.
Which I've had a couple of liters.
Well, I've had a few.
At least I remember. The pictures showed me having a lot of liters. There's maybe a short out there on one of our episodes of me having some liters.
You had a few.
Just a couple.
We had some beer. So we had a few.
The hectoliter is going to be bigger than a liter. So we were probably getting kind of close to that barrel type of size. I would assume that we're probably in that ballpark. 5 brew kettles, cutting edge filtration, ultra efficient bottling line. The hall has been the crowning achievement since it was commissioned in 2011. And the future is looking well. Some of their highlights, they have 5 brew kettles, including a mash tun for raw grains, mash tun for malt, and a buffer tank, a cooker, and a whirlpool, which is 202 hectoliters. Should have Googled maybe what a hectoliter is.
Yeah,
but
might be a good idea. I wonder if you
it's less than a kiloliter, but I don't know how much a kiloliter is. I know a liter is, I think there's probably maybe a couple of those into a gallon. Because they're pretty sizable. 3-4 of those into a gallon.
I don't know. Okay. Why is the United States the only country that doesn't use metric stuff?
It's just silliness.
I think I actually knew that at one time, but I don't know it right now.
It's ridiculous.
Delirium's getting to me.
It clearly is. They have their latest filtration technology in the brewing hall, the Mura Junior 2001.
Oh, cool.
I don't know what that is, but we may have to do a little more research on that as well.
Sounds like the latest brewing technology there.
It certainly does. They have an extremely efficient bottling line, the Cronus, which does. If you were to guess, how many bottles per hour do you suppose this thing kicks out? Just a rough ballpark.
Well, what type of bottles are we talking? Are we talking these liter bottles? Are we talking 12-ounce bottles?
I would assume probably mostly these.
Okay.
It doesn't really specifically say, but I would assume that it's probably the bulk of what they're doing.
Bottles per hour?
Mm-hmm.
I am going to say a lot. I am going to say 12,862.
You're close, but you're short by about 7,241.
I'm glad I was close. Do I win the showcase?
You do, and you know what? Your treat is going to be some more Huyghe.
Oh, perfect.
Some more Delirium.
Will do.
20,000 bottles per hour. They have a tunnel pasteurized machine. They have industrial automation. Just all sorts of amazing stuff that they've been able to put into what their new system is. If you go over to get to the other page here, they purchased an existing brewery in Mel is what they did in 1906. So that's kind of where it started. That site, so when we say 1654, that site had been a brewery since 1654. So it's not necessarily that Huyghe has been a brewery since 1654, but where they brew the beer has been. It's just now bought by Leon Huyghe. Huyghe.
That sounds like Asian to me. You know, like a samurai. Like
kind of. It does sound a little bit more that rather than more of like a German, Belgian, that type of region. But
to me it does, but what do I know?
Less and less by the minute.
Yeah. That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
So they adopted the present name in 1938, as we talked before. They initially brewed a regular Pilsner and soon began to make all sorts of different types of beers known as Belgian beers. So Belgian beers is kind of the style, but it's got a different flavor still to it.
It really does, and it's super hard to describe. And as you've been explaining to our listeners and viewers the historical part of this Delirium beer, I have drawn a blank trying to figure out how to describe this beer. And usually I think we do a pretty good job talking about hops and barley and the head on it and the malt flavors and what we're tasting, but this one is super challenging.
It's got a unique flavor to it,
sure
that's
does,
for sure.
Yes.
So many beers created at Huyghe, they have a series of beers under the Delirium tag, similar to what we have here. They have the pink elephants on the tag, best known as Delirium Tremens, a blonde Belgian ale. So that's what we have is a blonde Belgian ale. So it's definitely a Belgian flavor, but it's kind of that German Marzen, I don't know, very malty. It's very like sharp malty in a way. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making stuff up. Hints of Cointreau and a little bit of fabric.
Yeah, I think you're making stuff up a little bit. I'm not getting a Marzen Pilsner at all. The only thing that comes to my mind is flat. I feel like I'm drinking a flat Dr. Pepper or something. Every time, it doesn't taste like Dr. Pepper, but like there's no bubbling, it just tastes like something I'm drinking that's flat.
Yeah, a flat soda pop.
And I can't describe the flavor of it either. And it's not like a terrible flat taste at all. Like, the beer is good. I'm going to say it's a good beer, but I wouldn't seek it out like we talked about already. It's just weird. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate this.
Yeah, Jeff. So it again features the pink elephant. Other beers known at Huyghe include a Christmas beer and a beer called Deliria, which was selected to be brewed by the company from 65 entries made by female brewers.
Oh, wow.
So,
which we've talked about that numerous times on the podcast, how women have really shaped brewing throughout history.
Big time.
They really have. They're a huge part of brewing beer and recipes and the whole industry. So
absolutely.
They awesome. They kick ass. Go women.
The absolute 100%. I support that.
I'm serious.
Yes.
I'm not even joking. I'm fucking serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah. They also make a limited number of fruit beers with low ABV. They've acquired a number of smaller Belgian breweries, including Artevald Grand Cru in 1987, Biertoren in 1993, and Brewery Dam in 1994. So they've expanded kind of I don't know if their empire is the right way to put that, but I think that they're continuing to expand and continuing to add to the thing. But
Hey, you had mentioned a Christmas beer. Did they make a beer specifically for Christmas? Did it say anything?
it just says that it's a Christmas beer, so I would assume that it is primarily around Christmas. It's called Deliria.
Oh, Delirium.
No. Deliria was the other one. There is a Christmas beer, but it does not say what the name is.
Gotcha.
At least not on here. So might have to go to a different website or something to be able to get the info on that one. I will say, though, this is not without controversy.
Oh, here we go. More controversial beer.
Controversial. Oh, yeah. Controversial. So, the Delirium Tremens beer product, which is quite literally what we're drinking now, which is, what did we decide that it was? It's a blonde Belgian ale is what it is. It was banned in the United States for a period of time.
Well, I better take another drink of that. Anything that's banned, I like to partake.
Exactly. Cheers to
foreign relations.
Breaking former law. Foreign relations. Yes, I did say on a previous episode at one point in time that I needed to be more cultured. Now, I think I was talking about going to Hawaii, but you know what? Look at this. Now I'm international. Again, we've done that numerous times. So.
Germany, Denmark. Where are we going next?
Exactly.
Please, you tell us. Where are we going next?
Give us some of your feedback. We could go Canadian, like a Labatt's or a Molson or something.
Well, we kind of already have with the Moosehead.
That's true. What do they got in Australia?
We could go to Mexico, hit the Modelo.
Ooh, there we go. I do like some Modelo.
Yeah. Modelo. What else is down there? That's about it, right?
I'm sure there's probably a bunch.
I mean, I guess Corona, but
right.
I don't really
is that really
that Mexican.
Yeah, that's like.
I like the Dos Equis. Modelo's pretty good though. Modelo's pretty good.
I do like a Modelo Negro. It's pretty good.
Yes,
usually you can get that a lot of times at like even Mexican restaurants, things like that.
Yeah,
good stuff. So the controversy. I don't want to get distracted by the not good locked in on controversial.
We're just building up the suspense.
Exactly.
Yep.
And this is way more controversial than me not getting the right type of pretzel when I try to ask for one. Way different. Thanks, Jeff.
Von Hansen's.
So the particular beer that we're drinking now, the Delirium Tremens, was, as I mentioned, it was banned in the United States for a period of time when it was first exported here. The reason, and if we want to zoom in on this or have our tech guy throw it up in the middle or, put it in, big, bold, whatever on the screen, however we want to do that or whatever, but, either that or Google it, look up the name, look up the logo, look up the label here. But it was banned because authorities, I'm not sure who these authorities are, but I'm glad that they're not in charge anymore. They thought that the imagery and the name of the beer was too provocative and encouraged excess drinking.
Okay.
It's a good thing that nobody from Anheuser-Busch has ever tried to encourage that.
Well, I'll say, Andy,
so apparently the pink elephant, the mastodon, maybe it's these fellers on the bottom, the dancing crocodile, the dancing gator. Maybe that's who it is. That's what's getting me delirious and apparently having to excessively drink.
Well, while you're excessively drinking over there, I don't know how these images are controversial, but the name Delirium sounds like a drug, don't you think?
Yeah. That's probably the word delirium.
Controversial and maybe banned. I don't know why that would be banned in the United States.
Well, I mean, this is also probably back when they were, worried about people being delirious over Elvis Presley shaking his hips.
That's very possible.
Exactly.
He really laid the wood with them.
Yeah, he definitely, I don't know. I can't even
but a hound dog.
Exactly. Yeah, you learned all those moves from young Forrest Gump.
That's about all I got.
With his braces.
He was in Forrest Gump. Yep. Yes, on the television.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, apparently it's a controversial beer, 8.5% alcohol, and made in Belgium. But it's good. It's a golden ale, but it doesn't taste very golden ale-ish.
Golden blonde ale.
Golden blonde ale, very blonde.
It is very blonde.
Mm. Different type of flavor, though.
It's a flat blonde.
Flat blonde. Yep. Yeah. It's different different type of flavor, though.
I still can't describe it. If you come up with anything at all to describe this beer,
I just keep saying stuff.
You just have to try it.
If I say the right word out loud, maybe you'll be like, "Yeah, that's it," and then I'll sound brilliant.
Yeah,
but instead,
I don't think you'll ever sound brilliant.
Well, that's why I have to talk so much, because if I keep talking, somebody will hear something that they think is brilliant. I may not be, but that one moment in time.
Yeah, you're just going to have to try it. Anybody out there listening or watching, if you can find it, try it. It's not bad at all. It's definitely super different, super flat. No way to describe it. It's Delirium. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, it's something different, that's for sure. It's pretty good, though, and a full pint. It's 1 pint, 9.4 fluid ounces. Which is a little bit different. So it's 1 pint, but it's from Belgium. So why is it a pint? Isn't a pint a standard unit of measure?
I don't know.
Like pints, gallons. It's not a liter. It's not a deciliter or whatever it would be.
I have no clue. What did we drink in Germany?
Liters.
Yeah,
full liters.
Oh, why was I thinking we were drinking pints?
It was not pints.
Right, each beer, I can't even talk.
Another one.
Each beer was a liter, and when we recorded our video, we had over 3 liters.
It's true.
At that point in time.
Yes, yeah. The more that I watched
how many pints are in a liter?
The more that I watched that video back,
it is funny. I laugh every time. Well, we had some beer over there. It was so much fun. That was so much fun, man. I hope I never get dementia. I never want to forget that video or that time in October. That was so much fun.
It was absolutely just a blast. So I think we talked at one point in time about culture and going to Hawaii, and the talk of potentially going to Hawaii on maybe a vacation at some point in time, and how expensive it is to go there. It's cheaper just going back to Oktoberfest.
It is way cheaper to go back to Oktoberfest.
So
substantially too.
Decisions may have to be made. I'm not opposed to doing that again.
Decisions are made.
Mm-hmm. I'm not opposed to going back to Munich and spending some time there with the culture and the folk of Germany.
I would agree. Germany's awesome. The people are awesome. The beer's awesome. The food's awesome. Oktoberfest is fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, it was just stellar. Absolutely amazing. I did not see this there though, but I've had it now though.
There was no Delirium that we noticed at Oktoberfest, but apparently it's in Belgium. Delirium, and it's flat beer.
There you go. It tastes kind of flat, but it's still got a little carbonation to it.
There's something there. I don't know.
I mean, yours was blown out the top. That's why? Because I still have my carbon. I kept my carbonation. You wasted yours on foam.
I like to blow mine out of the top right away. There's no waiting for me.
Yep. Got so excited.
A little pre-gaming out of the top.
Yeah, you didn't even pop the top. You just twisted the thing and got,
pre-gaming all over the place.
Exactly. So, yeah, so that's our story of Huyghe and their Delirium, and a special guest appearance by Von Hansen's Pretzels.
Parmesan
which I
flavor.
Appreciate. I do appreciate that, though. That is awfully nice. It's hilarious, absolutely hilarious, and I was not prepared for that. I'm like, a gift? Why am I getting a gift? I don't understand. This isn't, I get it now. I get it.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's our story of this particular brewery. Good stuff. I think it might be a little challenging to find, but I recommend going out and trying to find it. Try to. I don't know where, but
I'm gonna guess Total Wine and Spirits. If you have one near you, they have. If you go into one of their facilities, they've got all their beers sorted by country, by IPA, lager, by style. Like it's pretty epic if you ever go into one of those. Everything's super organized. So I'm assuming that's where this came from. I'd have to talk to Jeff and ask him, but that's my guess.
It sounds right. I like that idea.
I like to be right.
Yep. Well, I mean, you're accurate more often than not. At least,
Right.
Especially the more beer that I've had.
In my head, I'm accurate more often than not.
100%. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I got. That's my story for that so far. So,
Perfect.
What else do you got going on?
Well, I have a lot going on, but I'd like to talk a little football right now. I like football.
Football. My fantasy football team's not doing very good. I don't know when this episode is going to come. I'm probably going to be eliminated from the playoff by the time that happens.
Probably be playoff time. Yeah, a little after playoff.
That's fine. I'm going to have to.
Both of our teams will probably be eliminated by the time this comes out.
I'm going to have to drink some more Delirium before then.
Have some Delirium. In fact, I will too here in a few seconds. But what I want to bring up is we're gonna talk a little homer right now. Little home teams, little Minnesota Vikings here. 10-2 right now currently as we're recording this. They're 10-2.
Yep.
Pretty crazy.
Not anticipated.
No, not at all. I think Vegas had them at 6 wins.
Yeah, going into the season, if we were going to be like with the odd number of games, if they were going to be, what would they be, 7 no, not 7. How many? They get 17 games, so would be 8-9.
Sure.
If they were at 8-9, I would have been over the moon.
Yeah, I was thinking if they were
10-2
500.
is,
Yeah. Well, they can't beat 500, but
yeah,
close enough to 500. Vegas had them at 6 wins. Of course, here in Minnesota, Kirk Cousins chose not to stay here, and of course he asked a hell of a lot of money to stay here for his age. Understandable. Why we wouldn't want to pay him for that amount. We bring in Sam Darnold. I'm like rolling around, screaming, yelling, running around my house with my shirt off, screaming at the stars, like, why are we bringing in Sam Darnold? He's been trash his entire career. Oh, my gosh, what are we going to do? I get it. $10 million a year. I understand he's a bridge quarterback, but if we're in a competitive rebuild, you don't bring in Sam Darnold, who sees ghosts on the football field.
it is. And even at the time when they did that, J.J. McCarthy was still going to be our quarterback of the year, just when he was ready.
Right.
So Bridge wasn't for the full year. Bridge was just for the first handful of games, half the season, whenever we thought that we were going to get to him.
Right.
So you're bringing him in to having a history of seeing ghosts and being terrible to teach your young quarterback how to be a professional.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, okay.
I had some concerns as well.
Wouldn't you want like a average veteran to teach your new rookie quarterback?
Bring in Joe Flacco.
Something like that, yes.
He can sit in the pocket and throw darts for, a couple of games.
And he's super mobile, Joe Flacco, at his age. Boy, he can run. But we did none of the above.
No.
We bring in Sam Darnold, and, I don't know, Sam Darnold is probably the MVP of the league right now. My gosh, who would have ever expected or suspected that in the least bit?
It was not in my orbit.
Definitely not
at
me.
all.
I'm
Not
still
even
a
a
Kirk
little bit.
Cousins fan. I think Kirk Cousins would have probably performed better still in the system. But when you look at the numbers, it's super hard to even say that now.
Right.
I mean, he probably would have less interceptions than Sam, but Sam Darnold's like, in the top 5 in almost every statistical NFL passing category that we have. Like, that's insane.
And I want to be clear that I agree with everything that you're saying, but I'm not upset about Kirk leaving for for multiple reasons. Like, the Vikings weren't going to be able to pay him what he was going to want to get.
No.
And he was aging. At some point in time, you have to make a decision. And, all right, now we have an opportunity where Kirk was hurt. We're going to get a high draft pick, then a decent quarterback. Otherwise, you're drafting a quarterback at the back of the round, the first round anyway. You're not going to be able to find really much there, so you're likely getting a quarterback, second, third rounder, and hoping you can build him into something. So you're going to be like a lifetime of Jaron Hall. So you have to strike when you can. Maybe Kirk doesn't like that. Maybe he wants extra money. Whatever it is. I don't blame him at all for going anywhere else. And I don't blame the Vikings for moving on. At some point, you do have to do that. You have to make that decision. In the end, it's a business. Do I love Kirk Cousins? Absolutely. But he's also got to do what's right for him and his family, and the Vikings got to do what's best for the team long term. everything, the way that it played out, all made sense to me. I wasn't sure that Sam Darnold was going to be the right answer. Like I said, a little concerned going into the season with his history. Like, is he really the right guy to provide leadership and whatever to the young fella about how to be a professional? It makes it a little bit difficult to really take that seriously. And he has come in and done nothing short of been just absolutely tremendous. He's learned the system. He works with it. Works within the system. Sometimes makes some weird decisions.
He's a little turnover prone, and he's got 3 or 4 decisions a game. You're just like, what on earth is that, Sam Darnold? You know.
And he did have a stretch of a couple, 2-3 games in the middle that they were still able to overcome, and they were still able to win, but he did run into some accuracy problems. I mean, generally speaking, other than those couple of games, he's been nearly 70% accurate, which is insane to me.
Even on deep balls, which the NFL considers any pass over 20 yards or more, we lead the league in percentage, completions, attempts. It's insane.
And so I don't know, I keep hearing also that, like, people are saying, oh, we got to figure out a way to be able to re-sign him now. I get it. Yeah. I get the argument. I get the thought. But I just, no. Don't get me wrong. I love the guy, and I think he's great, and I hope that we win a Super Bowl, and that would obviously change the narrative at that point in time. And I think that, like, I hope he gets MVP votes. Like, I think that, like, all of this is phenomenal. All this is great. And he's going to parlay this into a $36 million contract next year. And that's fantastic, but it's going to be with Indianapolis.
That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to command $30 to $40 million a year starting next year, and the Vikings are not going to pay that, or I don't think they will pay that, because we have J.J. McCarthy in the background. And
if they were going to do that, they should have done it with Kirk.
Exactly.
And that's where it's like, no harm, no foul. Going into the season, this was the plan.
Right.
I mean, he has outperformed every expectation. Crisp high five, slap on the ass. I appreciate everything you did. Go get paid. You deserve that money. You've earned that money. We don't have it for you, but go get it.
By far, next year I think we're $65 million under the cap. Well, the Vikings are going to use that money just to improve the offensive line, the defensive line, the defense. They're going to continue to make the team better. I think the whole plan is to use the rookie contract with a rookie quarterback to quarterback the team before he wants a lot of money. So you improve the whole entire team around it and use the small contract on the quarterback for that. That's why the Vikings won't spend the $30 to $40 million per year on Sam Darnold going forward after this year. So he's kind of a one-and-done thing. But now we got Daniel Jones. So is he going to stick around next year and start for the Vikings? We'll see.
And I wasn't terribly opposed to the idea of that. I would have liked to have seen it be where he was signed for, like, not just the rest of this year, but for next year as well, even if he's just going to be a backup guy. Sure. Because you know what you're going to get with Nick Mullins. He's going to go out there with his kind of, crazy look, but he's gonna Brett Favre it with less success.
That's what he does. He's
a gunslinger.
Yeah.
And, good for him. He's going to make some plays that are going to be like, wow, that's incredible. He's amazing. He should get and before you start saying he should get a starting job somewhere, you're going to say he should, he threw a pick.
That's always how it goes.
It's going to be the same throw that he's trying to squeeze into a window of 6 defenders. It's just the way that, and that's why he is where he is, and that's totally fine. But I think that if we could get Jones to stay for another year, I think it provides some insurance for JJ. I think that JJ still has to be the answer, because that's how you build a winner in the NFL. Yes, there are outliers like Kansas City. They have been able to somehow be able to pay Pat Mahomes $50 million a year and still be able to build the rest of a squad. Of course, you look at their receiving core this year, it's not exactly like they've been on fire. I mean, Rashee Rice has been out, but it's a much different bit, with that. But somehow they're still able to, year after year, be able to be a contender. But more often than not, you just don't see it, because financially you can't do it. The quarterback position commands that much money that it affects the trajectory of teams. It just does. You look at Detroit. Not that Goff is on a rookie contract, but he's not on a massive contract until next year, where he's going to get paid. He's going to get that cash. Detroit's going to look much different in the next couple of years. I wish him all the best. I think Dan Campbell's done an absolutely incredible job.
Oh, yeah, he sure has.
But you look at San Francisco, that's how you are able to build the rest of the team and get some extended success, because you're paying big contracts to Darrisaw and to Jefferson and whoever else.
Hawkinson.
I mean, you got guys that are. Brian O'Neill was one of the highest paid right tackles.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to pay people to be able to do the thing. And you make that decision. That's what the GM is for and whatever. But if you can, I don't want to say luck your way into it, but, like, that was one of the reasons that, like, who am I thinking of? Was it Indianapolis? No. There was some team, and I'm going to get there, but they had just tremendous quarterback play, got hurt, had 1 year that they were just absolutely god-awful because the main guy was hurt, were able to draft high, drafted another quarterback, and then just sustained success after that. If you can maximize that rookie deal on a quarterback, and you got to hit big. You can't just hit middle. You got to be able to hit big with it, which doesn't happen all that often. And I don't know if JJ is really that guy.
Right, yeah, we don't know yet.
I'd love to say that he is, all the best. But unless you can hit that big, that's where the money's made from a GM standpoint. Like, that's where the bread is baked, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, you can't build a team just by spending $45 million on a quarterback. Like I said, if you're going to do that, they would have done that with Kirk. I love Sam Darnold. I wish him the best in wherever he heads next. But you just can't keep him.
No, you
you're
can't.
Going to have, like you said, you're going to have salary cap, but you have to put that somewhere.
And he isn't going to want just a 1-year deal.
Mm.
And the Vikings aren't going to want to ruin their $65 million cap on a quarterback.
Mm.
They're going to want to improve every area of the rest of the team. And set up J.J. McCarthy for the best possible circumstance he can possibly have.
And part of that, which time will tell, but part of that, which may ultimately be our downfall, is that I think that there's a certain amount of Kevin O'Connell that if I get a whole off season and whole, extra workouts and everything like this, I can make Josh Dobbs into a franchise quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, challenge accepted. I can make whoever into the kind of the quarterback whisperer, if you will. Now, Josh Dobbs, I think, brilliant as he may be, I hate it when they always talk about, it's like, oh, he was a NASA guy, so he's brilliant. It doesn't matter how smart you are. You have to make decisions quick and in real time. If you can't walk up to the line and diagnose a defense and then make split-second decisions, like, that's where, I'd rather have a quarterback that has an IQ of about 13. If they can make quick decisions correctly, quick is better than smart, I guess, in a way, in that position.
Which would be Kirk Cousins over Sam Darnold. Kirk Cousins can make the decision super quick. Watching the Vikings games this year, Sam Darnold is not a quick decision maker. You can see him stand there. He's looking around. If his first read's not there, then he's looking around. Then he likes to turn his head and tuck and do a 360 and run out to the sideline as the defense is chasing him. That's one thing that Sam Darnold definitely needs to improve on is quick decision-making right away. He just stands back there and just looks and looks and looks and looks and tries to spin out of stuff, And thankfully, he's mobile, so he can kind of do that. Where
he does have that ability.
Kirk isn't going to spin out of nothing. He's just going to be like, oh, my God, here and get just blasted, so.
Where I have heard a hot rumor, and mostly by hot rumor, it was just on the radio, as a potential landing spot for old Sammy boy?
Well, where's that?
Los Angeles with the Rams.
Really?
Because Stafford, I believe, has one more year at like $55 million against the cap or something crazy. So even if you pay him $30 million, you're saving that much money. You go into the same system that you're already working in with a quarterback-friendly coach who is basically the same system that O'Connell came from.
Right. Well, he came from the Rams.
So he gets back to where he likes to be, L.A., like that, type of deal. So, like, there's a lot that kind of works. for that.
Well, what would they do with Stafford then?
Just cut him.
Oh, you think they'd just cut him outright? Because I know there was rumors earlier of trading Darnold for
and I think
Stafford.
I don't think it's a trade. I think it's just a money thing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Huge cap number. If you can cut him and be able to get somebody that's decent, you got good receivers and good offense brewing.
Yeah, they do. They've got a good running back. They've got good wide receivers. Yeah.
So, I don't know. That was the rumor that I had heard. And I think that, like I said, God bless him, and I wish you the best in wherever you're going to be. But I don't think that he's just going to be like, you know what? Cleveland is offering me $52 million a year.
Well, he might take it. Why wouldn't you?
I'm going to take the biggest contract. I think he's going to be a lot more measured, trying to find a spot, like potentially like LA, that like because they're paying a bunch of money to other people and they spent all of their draft capital to be able to get Stafford originally, like things like that, that he'd be like, you know what? I'm going to do a 3-year bit making $25 million a year, but I'm going to have a chance at success and maybe winning a Super Bowl.
Sure.
Because I think he's been around now long enough in shitty situations.
Well, do you think he's just a system quarterback then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to need to go somewhere where it fits his style and his
he's not going to come in and dictate a lot of things. Right. It's more going to be, this is what you are. You can live within this box. But we could make that work because you throw a good deep ball, you're accurate.
Right.
If we limit to, you're not going to run 5 wide and have a 5 progression set. It's just not going to happen. You're gonna run maybe 5 wide. You have your top receiver and a backup receiver, and you have to look at this linebacker. You're not looking at the whole defense. You look at this linebacker. If he cheats up this way, you're going that way. Very, I don't want to say simple decisions, but if you can craft it that direction, you can have a lot of success.
Sure.
Make it easy. You can win games. What's the KISS method? Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens this offseason with Sam Darnold, but man, he's playing his balls off here in Minnesota. He should be in the MVP conversation statistically. He should be. Nobody thought the Vikings were going to be 10-2. KOC should be probably in the conversation for Coach of the Year again. It's just crazy. And I still wish we had Kirk Cousins, but he had a pretty poor game this week with 4 picks. So I guess I'm shoving my foot in my mouth right now, and Sam Darnold is playing out of his mind,
But that being said,
I'd
I'd love to still be able to have Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely. I just financially there was no way to be able to do it with what we were trying to do.
And our offensive line has improved, and I still think Kirk would perform better in our system than Sam would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kirk is just as accurate, if not better, and he can throw a deep ball too. So
I think he makes quicker decisions.
So real fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think that'd be great, but I think it'll be interesting to see kind of where it goes, over the next year or so. But yeah, to your point, I mean, he's been absolutely tremendous. His numbers are about the same as Jared Goff, pretty close.
Yeah.
And Vegas odds have Jared Goff at 10-1 for MVP and Sam Darnold at 100-1 for MVP. Now, I think name recognition plays into that. If you were to blank the names out or whatever and just show the stats, his stats are better than Patrick Mahomes right now. But Mahomes, being who he is, he's going to be a top
bottom of the league statistically. Though he's freaking terrible.
But he's still going to be right around that MVP conversation because they're 11-1.
Well, they pay off the refs maybe.
Well,
I don't know.
When you throw a flag and then you pick it up and eat it because there's nothing there.
That begs the question if the NFL is rigged or not. We could go into that whole argument and debate. We probably shouldn't on this episode, but
right.
Of any sport, NBA, NHL, NFL, it just some things seem kind of fishy sometimes.
My only pushback for anything that there's enough that you could make that argument, but there's not enough close calls. I mean, NFL's close enough that close calls you can kind of influence things a little bit, but to be able to get 53 players on each side plus executives, you're talking about 200 people all being on the same page all right, So you're going to be 1-12 this year. Okay?
But do you need
You know what I mean?
53 players to do that, or do you just need the quarterback?
Yeah. Well, that's the opposite side of that argument. That, like I said, like I had this conversation earlier, not necessarily about throwing games or anything like that, but just how close the NFL has been this year. That the Vikings could easily, 10-2, they could easily be well below 500.
Oh, for sure.
You look at the Chicago Bears, who just fired their head coach. Could or should they have beaten the Packers?
Well,
on the field goal?
Right at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could or should they have beaten the Vikings?
Right at the end.
Could or should they have beaten Washington on the Hail Mary?
Right at the end.
Could or should they have beaten Detroit?
Right at the end, yeah.
It's such a slim margin with such, there's no room for error with any of that. That if you make one extra mistake or anything like that, it costs people jobs. But it's that close to, they're well below 500 now. They could be technically either in first or in second place. The North could be all sorts of all over the place. And so when you talk about affecting a game, you could really make the argument that you don't need to have 200 people, 2 officials, your lead official. Are you sure you've seen it that way? I'm not sure that I've seen it that way. I didn't see it. It looked like the ball came out this way. You're right. That was incomplete. Because sometimes that one play changes the dynamic of the entire game and how the game finishes. So I'm not discounting. I'm just, that would be probably the way you would do it, because it's such a close game with so many little things that, like I said, the Chicago Bears, are they an awful, terrible team? No, they're about 4 plays away from being 10-1.
Right. Yeah, that is true.
So, sounds like we're getting a little delirious here.
Mm-hmm.
Little delirium going on.
Yep, a little delirious from the delirium as we continue to talk about Sam Darnold and Kirk Cousins and how the NFL may or may not be rigged.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any opinions on that, drop that in the comments there. Right in, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it is, Instagram.
Everything. We're on everything.
Yeah,
just
wherever it may be. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell everybody. But yeah, if you got a beer you want us to be able to try, we like to try to, leave it out there. Again, this one is a guest suggested and a guest sent to us, really.
Yes.
As well. And you don't necessarily need to send it to us. We always appreciate that because then we don't have to worry about trying to source it ourselves just because, oddly enough, the liquor store near me is not exactly the biggest liquor store ever. So got to go to the cities every so often, which is fine. But, if you want to send me something or send us something to be able to get on there, reach out. We are happy to take suggestions, we can keep bringing whatever it is that we, happen to find and happen to talk to and, happen to, run into. I just ran into one of the partial owners of a brewery in the cities that we're going to try to be able to have on. Might be part of the Pizza Out Barbecue one. There's many different things that we're kind of looking at. But if you want to help, guide the Good Ship beer, feel free to drop us a line and let us know. But, we're always happy to be able to interact if there's anything you're looking for. And we get sweet hats too. God, I love that hat.
Yeah, we do have hats, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but we got a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff going on. But we got a couple episodes coming up with some pretty exciting beers that really looking forward to. Potentially some more international beer coming up, some more local beer, in Minnesota coming up. Of course, the Pizza Out Barbecue. Don't forget to look out Pizza Out Barbecue, PEETZOUT. Again, I'm not just stuttering because of the delirium. P as in Paul. E as in Edward, E as in Edward, T as in Tom, Z as in Zebra. Out. Pizza Out Barbecue. I don't think it's pizzaoutbarbecue.com, though. I don't think he's got his own website. I think he's mostly just on social media.
Yeah, Facebook mostly.
Yeah.
And he's award-winning.
Yeah, absolutely. Phenomenal stuff.
Multiple awards for his barbecue. So,
but if you haven't checked that out, definitely check out his stuff. If you haven't checked out the episode with that, definitely check out that because, gobble some... barbecue on air while drinking some delicious brew as well. So definitely check all that out. But we appreciate everybody for checking in and everybody for listening and watching and being a part of the broadcast. It's fun for us to just be here and do the thing, as they say.
Do the thing.
Do the thing.
I like to do the thing by drinking the thing.
Exactly, 100%. So, but yeah, if you have any suggestions or any thoughts, feel free to drop that. If you have any, just accolades, you just want to, toss praise upon us, give us our flowers, as they say, the kids say, the Riz. Definitely drop that at us as well. We're happy to be able to have that. So, that's our story of Huyghe Brewery and the Delirium and the little pink elephant. So, but otherwise, that's our story. Until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ugh.